All right, hey everyone. Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. We got the Pocket Change Market Report for the date of November 16, 2024. All right, we're going to check in on some of the errors and varieties that have sold here within the last day and a half. Of course, this is our weekend edition of this report. One of the more popular ones for the week, as folks go out there. They're hitting up the banks. They're going to the coin shows. The Baltimore Whitman show is currently live right now. It's I think one of the last big shows going right now for 2024 with not a whole lot of time left. And the same can be said overall for the market. While it's pretty active today, folks coming in, they're selling, they're buying. They're doing their fair share of what makes the hobby very active during this time of year. They're making it happen, but that window is coming to a close, guys. If you're looking to take advantage, make some extra money, before Thanksgiving and Christmas, we have roughly 4 weeks remaining. Okay, because things begin to kind of taper off midway through December as we head into Christmas. Things will begin to pick up again after that time, between Christmas and New Year's. We see a little bit of a tick up, but where it really explodes is after the first of the year. So there's a good solid 2 week kind of time frame where things are a little bit more dead, and you might experience some issues trying to sell some extra pieces in your collection. So it might be a good time to consider selling what you can right now if you are currently a seller of your items, because there's a fair share amount of collectors out there that's looking to add some of these pieces to their collection. All right, and that same goes for Whatnot. We're in the middle of the holiday kind of busy time of year on this platform, and I'm a robust seller on the platform, and I use this alongside with eBay and a few other areas, to really put together a full e-commerce solution for myself when I go to sell coins, paper money, precious metals, other collectibles as well. I utilize all of the different resources, and you guys should too. Don't hold yourself back from what could be a great thing. Whatnot has been a great partner for Blue Ridge Silverhound. Okay, we do shows every Friday. We had another awesome show here yesterday, and we have more to come between now and the end of the year. It's going to be banging. So come join us every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. We cover all of the great stuff in the hobby. And of course, we also do little mini shows all throughout the week. We're actually going to do another one here today on Saturday, right around 3 p.m. We're going to have about 30 or 40, coins to offer. Lots of great type coins, a lot of great unique stuff as well. So look forward to seeing you. If you're not signed up on the platform, now's a good time to do that. I have my referral link down below to sign up for both as being just a casual buyer or a seller on the platform. There's lots of perks that go with both. You sign up under me, for example, you get $15 off your first item. So go ahead and check that out. It's a world of fun to sell on Whatnot, and they're growing huge every single day. It's such a fast growing platform. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these coins. We got 25 up here. 1985 Lincoln Memorial Cent. We're going to start off with a few of the smaller types of coins that you can encounter. Now, when we look at this coin, obviously it's slightly off center struck, so it's struck outside of the collar a little bit. I would probably say less than 10% is what we're all off center offset strike is on this one. Coin's in pretty good shape, but it shows a little bit of indications that this one has been around the block a few times. Not too many. It's still predominantly a low-end mint-state coin. This one ended up selling for $14.25, and these are the type of coins, ladies and gentlemen, that I have come across going through penny bankrolls. Kind of hard to believe, but when you search thousands of these coins each and every single month, you're bound to find stuff like this, and they do come across, and they fit perfectly well in a cent cent roll, they're unassuming at first glance, but when you do come across one, they're a welcome surprise. We also have this 1986P Jefferson nickel. We've highlighted a few of this type of cud die break because it's such a common area on the die for easy fracturing and cracking of that area. But if you look at the very base of Jefferson's bust right there, where normally there's an empty cavity that has Felix Schleg's initials, that's a common wear point on the dies. Okay, that's again very prone to cracking, and this one right here is a great example of that. This particular cut, I'd say, is not the most desirable because it's an easy spot to look for these, and they're quite common. However, prices still very healthy. This one ended up selling for $34.54. Here's a 1953 Lincoln Wheat Cent. Couple various things happening right here. First and foremost, you're going to notice that the coin has a pretty nice wood grain kind of texture to it. They call this an improper alloy mix. So that's when the very negligible small amount of tin or zinc is added to the copper composition during the processing of this mix. Doesn't really mix all that well. So it creates kind of like this wood graining, zebra striped kind of event. It's actually quite attractive and they are highly collectible. You would more inclined to see these on Lincoln Cents dated prior to like 1958. You generally anything newer than that, you just don't see it because they kind of pared back on the tin zinc addition to the composition. They found it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Um, so this one also has what appears to be a little bit of delamination on the obverse and the reverse. The lamination on the reverse is so small you can see at the top left wheat stock there a little lamination, but you can see the delam right there on Lincoln's the back of jacket area. So pretty neat one here. $8.01, is the sale price on this, which kind of represents the floor of what I typically like to sell these at myself, or any coin for that matter. Anywhere from like $6 to $8 is my comfort level because you're still making at least $2 or $3 in profit. It's still worth your while. All that money adds up at the end of the day. And then here's one that time forgot. Keeping in mind that, there are some modern beauties still to be found out there. They haven't all been searched out, I can tell you that. Far from it. 2022P. This one is the American Women's Series Sally Ride, reverse there on that quarter. But most importantly, if we look at the front of the coin with George Washington, you can see that big craterized empty area right on his ponytail. They call this a field restricted strike through. Um, and they come in different shapes and sizes, and that's all due in part to the feeder finger and its operation of pushing the coin in the striking chamber. Sometimes that feeder finger will make contact with the top of the die face, creating very, very light micro scratches, but at the same time, there's always some little bit of grease on there and it pushes it back and forth. And that's why every single strike through event like this is always going to have a different shape. This one right here, $13.98. Again, we're not forgetting about these. They have dipped as low as to $5. And that was roughly about a year and a half ago, right after the hype has died down. But since we're not seeing too many of these on the secondary market, A, people have forgotten about them. B, there's been a little micro resurgence in these coins. So when they do pop out, there was, I think, like 4 or 5 of them that sold at the same time, all from the same seller. And he or she took 4 or 5 coins and turned it into like 50, $60. I mean, that's not too bad. And that's a good way of, selling these, because you'll have that one collector that comes by and they'll scoop up everything you have of that same type of mint error. So, great one here. Be on the lookout for these. They're still very much live in our change today. We also have a little bit of paper money action here. How about this unassuming 1935E $1 silver certificate? I guess we could call this one misaligned print, but also maybe a little bit of a miscut too. Obviously, something's happening here. You have a little bit of overlapping of the overprint to some of those the initial first print design on the front of this note. When we look at the reverse, yeah, you could tell that is definitely a miscut happening here. Sale on this one ended up being $80.39, and that's off of 12 bids. Very nice. And here's one right here that has a few things going for it. It's actually much neater than it looks. 1955 S Lincoln Wheat Cent. I guess the seller had mentioned that this came out of a bank bag that had a bunch of 55Ss. So that's pretty neat. Original 55S Fed Reserve Bank canvas bags are few and far between these days. But what also is neat, it also has a pre-cud on the reverse right there on that right wheat stock. A very well-known one, might I add, and not particularly rare either. But this particular one was pitched and promoted with these crazy die chips filling in the top of the fives in the date. So yeah, that's kind of what they were hanging their hat on, and I don't know if they saw that retained pre-cud on the reverse there, but I'm sure there were a few people that did notice it because the sale ended up being $22.09 with 10 bids. If this coin was just being sold because of the die chips in the date, I'm not so sure that would hit 20 bucks. This is more of like an $8 to $10 coin. And it has to be a really nice high grade specimen like this one is. The next one that we have here, I've had a few people look for these and they found them. Even I found a couple of them over the years. 1995 Lincoln Memorial Cent. You could tell that the copper plating is missing on this one. It's not rubbed away because it did not disturb the underlying zinc core and how it struck up on this one. It's just a partial plating mishap is what this one is, and it's very legit. Unfortunately, they're not too terribly rare, but they're still very equitable. This one right here ended up selling to the tune of $24.50 with 13 bids. That is outstanding. That's a good little payday there on that one. I think the one I had, I ended up selling for like $5. But it wasn't, in all honesty, it wasn't as nice as this one is. But just to let you know, if you find one that looks like this, and normally you're encounter these on 90s dated coins, save it. It's a good one. We also have this one here. We've talked about it on a number of occasions, and usually it's the same seller that's offering them. So let's go ahead and rehash it one more time. 1972. It's the date of dates of Lincoln Memorials for some pretty big doubled die obverses. Here's one right here, the FS 102. Coin is in phenomenal shape. Brilliant, beautiful, gem red specimen here. There's not a whole lot going on that would distract me, save for maybe a couple little tiny spots on there. But check it out. This is what we play for on 1972s, and that stands to be the reason why BU rolls of 1972 Lincoln cents have been going to the moon in the prospect of finding a few of these bad boys in there. Not easy on its face. Good luck trying to find unsearched 72 bankrolls. I'm not saying they're virtually non-existent. They are out there. There's some old collections that have those in there, but they're just not out there readily available, and not for the price they once were back in the day. But this particular coin sold for $153.90. It seems to me every time I blink, the price goes up $5 on, especially on the 102. This one is quite strong on all facets of the coin. 1982p Kennedy. Again, this thing is good as a 90% silver half dollar. That's the missing initials reverse, no FG. FS 901, I believe, is what it's attributed as. But Frank Gasparo's initials on the reverse is completely polished away. It's missing. It's a cherry picker's guide variety too. How about 12 bucks? 6 bids. So yeah, it's on par with a 90% half. You find this one, keep it, sell it, and then buy yourself a 90% half. I don't see what the big deal is here, folks. It couldn't be easier of a trade-off. And then we also have this one here too. This one I love tracking right now because The prices are all over the place, and they're more scarce than you guys lead to believe. We do have a newer quarter that's out, so I just want to let you guys know that in time, the more of these newer quarters come out, it's going to essentially dwindle the amount of Dr. Mary Edwards Walker quarters that can be found out there in nice shape. So this is the famous or infamous VDDR number one. It's a Wexler or Wiles, Dr. Wiles attributed variety. Probably one of the strongest, bar none, on a quarter within probably the last 20 years. I'd say the number one undisputed king, even to this day, is the 2009 D Washington D.C. double to die reverse quarter. That one's just always going to be the big one. So on this heavy hitter, you're going to look for the doubling on the star metal right there, along with the little eagle and the wings and things, all that great stuff. But also look on the back of Dr. Mary Edwards' hair. You're going to see doubling there. That's pretty robust. These also have die chips on the word scent. All right, so you're also going to kind of look at that as well as a secondary kind of event that happens on these. But boy, this thing is so strong. So the prices continue to be very volatile on these. They haven't quite settled at, we've seen one that sold as high as over $200 within the last week or two. This one right here sold for $91.58 with 9 bids. So obviously, we're seeing kind of a roller coaster effect of the valuation of these, and it might take 6 months to a year till we come to a definitive, just straightforward pricing pattern on these. It's still being tested out into the market, but what we do know is variety folks love this quarter. I think people are kind of buying these and holding on to them for the long haul because this has shades of Cherry Picker's Guide edition hot on its heels, and we could see that here within the next couple years. Um, oh my gosh, this thing, man, this thing is nuts. 1968 D Lincoln Memorial Scent. A variety is so rare that I tend to forget that this one even exists, and as a result, I tend to completely ignore it. There's a big repunchment mark of this one as well. That's not particularly easy to find either. But the big one for the date, and that's what you're seeing here, is the FS801 doubled die reverse. How about we take a look at a close up here of all the good stuff? So when you look at the all the letters in the United States of America, you can see the doubled serifs and the notching all the way around. And then look at E pluribus unum. I mean, that's proof in the pudding. Frank Gasparo's initials is doubled as well. This is quite nice and quite rare as well. If you could find one in mid-state red of this one, period, congratulations. That's a heck of a find. And even this one, not graded, still sold for $154.99. I mean, come on now. That is insane. That is quite insane. And I told you it's that rare. When we compare this to other coins that are as impressive, like say a 64 Philly Lincoln Cent DDR, that is virtually similar to this one. It sells for about half that in the same condition. So that just kind of lends itself to its rarity, and one that if you did come across it, it's going to be a huge feather in your cap. Um, wow, neat one here too. 75D. It's a Denver with this thing. Um, Looks to have some gunk or grease there on the obverse there, but yeah, it's double struck. Yeah, that's what we have here. The secondary impression is struck off center by about 75%, 80% maybe. I don't know. It's close. But pretty cool one here, guys. This one ended up selling for $125. They're all very pricey, and if you get beyond the, I guess, whatchamacallit, I guess the copper-plated zinc dates 1982 into the coppers. That's where these things are much more desirable because they are copper. Um, and another one here that I guess we all tend to forget. Again, there's a lot of these moderns guys that you could reel in and really fill up your wallet with some extra spending power if you need it for the holidays. 2018 This is the Michigan Pictured Rocks ATB quarter. Double to die obverse number one, and it's going to be on the motto "In God We Trust." See how it's all stretched out there on all the letters. When you compare it to a regular run-of-the-mill version that's not doubled, yeah, it's like night and day. You even have the cat's eye appearing look of that inside of the O in God. Yeah, pretty awesome. So this one here sold for $8.29. Much nicer examples tend to hit 25 to 30 bucks. This one has seen a little bit of circulation. Um, wow, cool one here too. 1960s Roosevelt dime struck through, which could be like a number of things. Grease, could be some tape, could be a cloth of some sort, but it's like it is tandem mixture of different things, various debris. The grease is the glue that holds it together, and it was sitting on the die. So I don't know. It's got all sorts of crazy patterns on there. Roosevelt has never looked more like a zombie than he does in this one. But yeah, nonetheless, how about $44.50? And even though it doesn't have a full readable date, it's still very desirable. Very common one here, 55 Franklin half dollar. It's a common variety. This is the Bugs Bunny type of this one. What FS 401 I believe is what it is. 55 is bar none the most common out of all the dates for a Bugs Bunny die clash. There you go. Yeah, Franklin looks like he has some fangs there, so he's got his vampiric kind of appearance to it. Pretty neat. This one sold for $48.35, and yeah, even nice examples of a 55. They're still very valuable. 1965 Washington quarter with two clips on there. It's got a really strong Blakesley effect as well, right above the E in Liberty. So that's the Blakesley effect for the clip at the bottom by the date. Um, yeah, anything above one clip, especially on an earlier piece like this, is very, very meaningful. This one sold for $29.98. We have a two-pack of these New Hampshire quarters, and actually the seller had probably like 20 of them that he or she sold. And some are like in different degrees of off-centerness. These two look like they're about 10% off-center, maybe 15% on the one on the left. Pretty cool. But this seller did introduce a whole bunch of New Hampshire off-center struck quarters to the market, which makes the prices go down a little bit, not too much. This two pack right here, I would say not sellable if you were going to flip it because two coins, it's not really considered bulk. I'd say anything like three, four, or higher is considered bulk in my eyes. But $64, okay, which puts that $32 a piece. If you wanted to, you could sell them in lots of two like this, or just sell them singularly. They'll do just as well there too. Man, this thing's cool too. I found a few of these, and I have them in my PC actually. It's hard to ignore this 1952 as Lincoln Wheat Cent. Massive, huge die chip that's just encapsulating the mint mark and most of the two middle numbers of the date there. Man, this thing is so cool. It's huge too. It's probably encroaching on the size of like a die break than it is a die chip. It's that big. $18.95 was the sale price, and now that I know that's how much these things sell for, I might have to try my hand and sell a few myself for right around there. Even at that price, under 20 bucks, you could ship it off in a plain white envelope, which is cool too. Keep the price of shipping down. There's another piece of currency, man. We had a few pieces in here, not a ton, but we have some of the bigger ones coming up here. 1950D $20 bill. I would say it looks like a miscut. Maybe a slight misalignment on the print, considering that the overprint is slightly shifted to the left, or maybe it's an appropriately placed overprint for the note and where it's located or situated on there. The reverse, yeah, definitely off center and miscut. So where are we at on this one? How about $185.95? The seller took the picture of this note inside with the note in a currency sleeve. I always tell folks, yeah, take it out, air it out a little bit. The pictures are going to be a lot more better, a lot more robust coloring, and you know, it's a small tip, but in this case, it's okay. The note sold for the market. It probably exceeded the market a little bit on this one. 1999p Roosevelt dime off center by about 15-20%. Yeah, impressive. It's nice. But one of the more common dates of this event. $30 is the sale price on this one here. 1883 Liberty V nickel. This one has the no cents reverse. So this was their first go around before they found out that unscrupulous individuals were gold plating these and passing them off as half eagles because they did not designate cents. It just had a Roman numeral V on the back. So they changed that pretty quickly and added cents on there for the Type 2. But this one here, yeah, a little bit of a rim clip right above her head there. It's star number 7, it looks like. So this particular one sold for $75. Holy smokes. That's a really big price tag for this because the no cents version were hoarded in high grades. All right, so you could get a really nice high grade example for under $50. And clips, especially one shallow clip like this, doesn't necessarily contribute a whole lot of extra zing to the price. But I guess it did so on this one. Excuse me. Cool little delamination on this 1953 Lincoln wheat cent, and it's a nice one. I mean, cut through the date and his jacket there, quite strong. Yeah, it's hard to mistake what this one is. $38 on the sale price for this guy. And yeah, here's another one. Kind of gonna be a casualty to the lack of star notes as production winds down from the BEP. This one has been going up in price here recently, and that's the 2017A $2 bill star note with the over inked top right star. All right, so when you look at this note, you look at the left serial number, you see that the star has a little white dot in the middle. That's normal. The one that's not normal is that top right star. And normally when we find these on $2 bills, it's gonna affect that top right star from what I've seen. Here's a little bit of a close up. Another thing to observe, if you look at $2 right there at the top, it's got a little bit of over ink smudging, as well, which kind of helps support the over inking aspect of this. Pretty neat. I mean, these things are cool. I've known to be cool long ago because you could have found some on like earlier silver certificates, and those are quite meaningful and very collectible. But on these newer ones, yeah, we totally embrace these, and so has the collecting community. This one sold for $56.26 with 18 bids, and there was a time you could have picked these up about 6 to 12 months ago for right around $30. All right, and our time might be passing on these, and they're all going to be very nice high grade examples. A lot of people have been saving these right out of the BEP pack in this high state of preservation. So if you're going to buy one of these, make sure they're crispy, uncirculated, never seen a cash register in their life or a wallet. But pretty cool, yeah. And these are gradable by PMG and PCGS Banknote with the over-inked star designation on there. So just want to let you know that that is the case. There's a reverse, beautiful, stunning design. One of my favorites of any modern type. Um, yeah, kind of a tough date here. 1923S Lincoln Wheat Cent with a massive strike through on the reverse. And in this case, it's just a bunch of grease. Yeah, it was a greasy, dirty die, that reverse die. So this is what it looks like the die is obstructed by a bunch of foreign matter, and it has to strike through that stuff to get to the host coin. And this is your final result. This one sold for 25 bucks. Again, it is a tough date, and it's probably like a VF25 coin as it sits, which is right around $8 to $10, the way it is. But when you throw in that extra element of that strike through on the reverse, boy, it makes a pretty good impact. And our final piece for the day has to be this insane multiple gutter $10 bill, 1985. And this one's kind of like what they call the horizontal type of gutter, which is much more scarce. Yeah, this thing is bitchin', man. This thing's really, really cool looking, and yeah, it's like an accordion. That's exactly what this thing reminds me of. There's a little bit of the reverse showing the flare out after the gutter's been unfolded there. Not graded, okay? It doesn't need to be. $410 was the final payout on this one from some lucky buyer to the seller. Congratulations to both parties. This thing is really, really cool. And again, guys, don't need to grade them. You heard me say that before. That's it for the Saturday edition. Love you guys. Information provided in this video is for educational use only, not financial advice. Please take care of your coins responsibly. And that's going to go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Always a pleasure. Now's the time to go out there and do your um, yeah, your auction listings. If you're selling, if you're out there hunting, hunt, hunt, hunt. The Whitman Coin Show in Baltimore is live and active. Probably the last big coin show of the year, bar none. Like national show, and that's the one right there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hope to see you on Whatnot here in the coming weeks. We got a lot of great stuff. Great holiday giveaways inbound as well. But that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys take care. Happy hunting. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.